All right, class. Today we're going over the Bible and what it is. Miss Diva, we don't want to hear nothing about no Bible. We know that's about them white folk. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Ain't nobody black in the Bible. I mean, come on now. The Bible don't mean nothing. That's just allegorical stuff. It don't mean nothing at all. So we don't need to hear nothing about no Bible. I thought we were talking about intelligent stuff here. I thought we were talking about law. What's this Bible stuff? Today, we're going into what the Bible really is and the power behind it. So y'all stay tuned because we're going to learn to stop listening to people who don't have true knowledge. What is the Bible? I'm yours truly, Diva Lyri. We're here with the UNA University and UNARepublic. We're going through it today. What is the Bible? Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah. yes. Q&A. All right. We are going through it today. Yeah. We're live today on YouTube and TikTok. I'm crossing my fingers about YouTube. I'm crossing my fingers. Let's see if we are up. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I'm up on YouTube. I don't think I am. All right, let's get started. Let me see if I can find out if I'm live on YouTube or not. Let me see. I don't think I am. So I'm trying to see if I'm live on. Let me see if I can get in here and see what's up. So welcome everybody. Welcome as I try to see if I'm actually live. I've been trying to get this thing to work. I think I did what I was supposed to do. It says live streaming, but I don't really know. It says I'm 5 minutes into the game. I don't think I'm live, but we'll see. I got so many windows open, but I want to welcome you guys. I welcome. Unfortunately, I've been trying to get this thing going on YouTube, and I have had all kind of issues. I thought I had them figured out, but clearly I don't. One moment. So let me try one more thing. See if because I'm rolling. It says on this side, yes, you're live, but then I'm not able to pick it up. So I don't know. One moment. Just give me a second. Y'all bear with me. Y'all, these technical things, they zap my spirits. I'm not going to lie to you. So I really am going to be so happy when I get somebody in here to do the production for me, because I don't want to deal with this when I'm going live. I want to focus on what Diva Lyri got to do. I want to be dealing with this technical stuff, but I don't think I'm going live over here. Unfortunately, we'll figure it out one day. Let me see. One day we'll figure it out, because it says I'm streaming over here, but I can't tell. So good luck with that. But y'all, I want y'all, we're building up the YouTube site, so I want y'all to please go over there and follow, like, and share, because all of our videos are over there. So I'm going to try this one more time, see if it says I'm streaming, but I don't. Know. Good luck. All right, so now, welcome. Happy 2023. Some of y'all are saying, the new year is in spring. I'm with you on that. For those of you all who are not on the spring deal, happy new year to you. For my other friends who know that spring is when the new year is, happy 2023. So let's get into this. As I get my energies back up after messing around with this technology, it really zaps my whole energy. I hope I'm up over there. If I'm not, welcome anyway, YouTube. We will one day be able to go live on YouTube, where I can catch you over on YouTube. I can catch you on Twitter, and then we're gonna keep this thing rolling and moving. I want to thank you all for liking and sharing. I just got this message that says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth okay, never mind. I'm not dealing with that's why I just put the pre-recorded videos up on YouTube, because I'm not playing with y'all today. Today I'm ready to go into this thing about the Bible, okay? And what we're talking about. Now, in the preview I spoke about how you hear so many people saying things about the Bible, and it's important that we truly gain knowledge for ourselves, because a lot of people are speaking about things and they truly don't know what they're talking about, and we're going to go through it today. What is the Bible? What is it? What is this thing, this whole Bible? Is it just allegorical? Is it some nonsensical stuff that they just telling us to keep us enslaved? All right, so we're going to go into that today. What is the Bible? All right. Now, I want to talk briefly about what my experience has been with the Bible and what I had to come into knowledge of. So when I first started studying this information about anything, when I really just started studying, especially about when it comes to sovereignty and all of that, when I first got into it, I understood that there was an estate, and that with that estate, things are being paid from that estate. But what I had to do is I had to start studying, and I started studying law and history and science and everything. No matter what I went to, even if I dealt with foreign policy, I still came across the Bible. It was a constant. Everything I studied, it led back to the Bible. Archaeology, again, history, math, science. It keeps leading back to the Bible. And I was like, what is this? But first of all, I was under the impression that the Bible was written by the Albions, so-called white people. They're not white, but I was under the impression that they were written by them, and we're told that these so-called Jews are the chosen people of the Bible. I was under the impression that it was just nonsensical, that didn't mean anything. But as I really got into studying everything, even when we talk about dietary law, it led back to the Bible. And so I knew that at some point I was like, I'm going to have to read this book. I was like, no, I'm not reading that book. I'm going to get somebody else to read the book for me, and I'm going to let them tell me what the book is about. And there was this Albion guy, and he was well versed on the Bible and what the books are in the Bible and all of this. And he was telling me certain things about the Bible. So I'm hearing him, I'm listening to him about the things that are in the Bible. I was looking up other people. Some of y'all know Jordan Maxwell. He also goes into the Bible a great deal, and he talks about what the book is and some of the things in it. All right. But one of the things that I found is that nobody is able to really tell you about what the book is. Okay, so I'm refusing to read this book. Everything else that I'm studying is leading me back. And you think you know the Bible. If you haven't read it for yourself, if you're still thinking that it's a religious book, you don't know nothing about the Bible. And we get ready to go in today, because I know if you're going into court, you don't know nothing about the Bible. But we're going to go into what this book is, because when I finally was reintroduced to it by my cousin is a Hebrew Israelite, or she talks about how we came from that land or what have you. So she reintroduced me, and I say reintroduced me to the book for the simple fact that I didn't know anything about the Bible. And so what happened was, all of this studying that I had been doing, there's this whole thing going on between Russia and China. And I remember my cousin and I were sitting watching television. This was we were planning a family reunion. And we're sitting there, and the news comes on and it starts talking about Russia and China. And I was like, yeah, my research is showing, and I didn't tell her, but I was like, yeah, China and Russia getting ready to kick off in the United States butt. All right. And my cousin says to me, yeah, it's in the Bible. Now, at this time, I was studying so much, and I had so much knowledge, but I had no answers. I had all of this knowledge about what's going on, but I had no answers at all. And so when she said to me, it's in the Bible, I was able to say, show me. Had she said that to me 6 months or even 2 months earlier, I would not have been ready to hear it, because remember, I'm like, I don't want to know nothing about what's in that book. Because as far as I'm concerned, that book is just a bunch of lies. That we found out about religion, and the pastor is lying to us, and everybody else is lying to us about religion and what's going on. So I understood that, but I'm thinking this book is just a bunch of lies. All right, so she tells me, she says it's in the Bible, and I was able to say, show me, because I was ready to hear anything. I didn't care. At this point, I was like, I don't care where it's coming from. I want to know what the facts are. So when she says to me, it's in the Bible, she says, yeah, well, this book is about us. This is about our people. Now here I am thinking this book is about all these Albions, when the book is really about melanated people. All right, now, and I'm going to go into how we know, how some clues that you can know that the Albion could not have written this book. So we get into it, and again, I find out so many answers. A lot of answers are in this book. Now, do I say that this is the perfect word of God? Not at all. It tells you that there are left out books. Well, if there are left out books, then it can't be perfect. It can't be a perfect word of God when it's copyrighted by somebody else. You cannot copyright a perfect word of God, because it comes from God. That means it belongs to everybody. Then you can't copyright it. What if you copyrighted your own story? That's what you copyrighted. Then that means you made changes to it. So it can't be perfect. But does it hold a lot of clues? Yeah, it does. Does it hold a lot of information and answers? Yeah, it does. And so we're going to go into it today about what the Bible is. We're going to get into some history, where it came from, what made it up, what are these books in here, where they came from, who wrote them, and how we can tell who wrote them. What is the original order on this planet? We're going through it today so we can understand what this book is. Welcome, everybody. Daughter of Faking, welcome. User, welcome. Blue Bruce Banks, Kid Redskin, thank you for joining. Kid Redskin says it even has future events that are happening right now. Thank you, Kid Redskin. So we're going to get into it because we need to understand what this book is. All right. So let me say this. Let me start off by saying this. People just say, oh, well, this book is just allegory. It's just allegorical. Well, what is allegory? What does that mean? Allegory means a story that is told to help you understand something going on in life. All right. That's what it means. It's just like a parable or a story to help you understand what's going on in life. What I need you to understand is every second and every minute of your day is an allegory. Does that mean your life is not happening? Every minute, every second of your day is an allegory. Does that mean that it's not happening? No, it doesn't. Every minute, the universe is giving you information to help you understand what's going on in this dimension. Your whole life is an allegory. Does that mean your life did not happen? No, it doesn't. So let's recognize this. What is the Bible? Yeah, it's allegorical. It's also historically accurate. Now, I'm going to say this. The book of Jasher. This is a more accurate, a less tampered with version of what is going on in the Old Testament. So I always encourage you, go get the book of Jasher. All right, I'm going to talk about the book of Jasher versus the Bible versus the book of Enki just a little bit today. But yeah, I encourage you to go and get those books, download them and read them, because this is when you can really get a better understanding of what happened back in those days. So the Bible, the book of Jasher rather, goes into detail, and it's telling you how old these people were, what their lineage was, all kind of family history, things that were left out in the Bible. All right. So now the Bible, what is it? Okay. Is it a book of allegory? Yeah. It's also historically accurate. It's a math book. It's a science book. It's an astrology book. It's a dietary law book. It's a foreign policy book, a tax book. This book will help you free yourself. The same book that's being used to keep you down is the same book that you will use to uplift yourself and free yourself from this system that has you entrapped. But if you're not willing to know what's in that book, if you're listening to people who are ignorant, if you're listening to people who have no clue about what's going on in this dimension, then you're not going to be able to use that book to uplift yourself. It's going to continue to be used to keep you down. All right. So I tell people, especially my atheists, even if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But I'm telling you, you need to know what's in that book. And I'm telling you, when you walk into a court of law, you keep your mouth shut about whether you believe there's a God or not. Why? Because that's where your power is. It's not even about what you believe. It's about what those who are running this game believe. Why? Because they're using that Bible to keep you down. And the fact that you're ignorant of it makes you unable to tap into the power that's within the book to help you get out of the mess. This ain't about religion. That Bible is not really about religion. That Bible has a lot of power. Yeah, it's got some lies in it. It's been redacted. Some of the sexes of the people have been changed. They took the names of the gods out, and we're ready to go into this when we talk about history, because most of those gods were feminine. Some of these characters in this book that they're talking about, they're feminine, they're females. When you go back and this is why you need to start studying. Don't just listen to other people. Don't listen to Diva Lyri. Go study for yourself. When I give you this information, go study it. Because when you go back and you look at, first of all, read the book. Know what's in the book. Yeah, nobody's telling you to believe it, but if you don't know what's in it, you can't use it to your advantage. So you've got a situation whereby there's this book, and there are people in it. They're saying these characters in it. But you go back and read, for example, Solomon. All right. The Bible is telling you that Moses is the one who led the Israelites out of Egypt. But Solomon was there. Solomon saying there's a female God that led these people out of Egypt. But you got the Bible over here saying Moses did it. But Solomon was there. His stories say it was the woman. It was a female. And talks about how wise she was. Well, who was Moses then? And Solomon was there, and he's saying, no, this was a female. We can go into it. What's going on? Why are we getting different stories? Nobody's telling you that the Bible doesn't hold power. Oh, it's got some power, but it's also got some lies, and we need to understand what's what. Then you can start really gaining your power. Okay. So, going into the history of the Bible, what is the Bible? The Bible is a canonized version of scriptures. The Bible comes to us in 325 AD by the Council of Nicaea that they want you to believe was a group of Albion people when they weren't. These were melanated folks. Nicaea. They're going to show you pictures and images, and they're all Albions. But that's how a people's history gets rewritten. And then Albions come in, and here's the thing. I'm not going into this today, but it's not just Albions that lie to us. There are melanated people that lie to us as well. Yeah, these people who you think are your folk just because of the color of their skin. When the truth is, they will tear you down faster than the Albion will. Because the Albions are recognizing that they come from you. These other people, they look like you, but they're not truly for you. We're not getting into that today. The Bible. It is a canonized version of scriptures coming to you in 325 AD. I said it's a canonized version of scriptures coming to you in 325 AD. Well, what's the deal? Because these scriptures here are way older than 325 AD. They go back into BC, thousands of years in the BC. But you got a canonized version in the AD. What's going on? What does the canonized version mean? It just means that there are certain scriptures that they've chosen to put into this book that has been copyrighted, meaning that things have been changed, things have been redacted, things have been left out. All right? And so what we're getting ready to go into today is who wrote those scriptures? Where did these prophecies come from that this brother just talked about, how there are things in that book that are coming true right now and haven't even come true yet? Who wrote those scriptures? Well, this is when you get into understanding that the terms sibyls and oracles. Sibyls and oracles. They want you to believe that those were Albion women. It was sibyls and oracles that were writing the scriptures. I need y'all to understand something, especially you women, that this planet was originally a matriarchal planet, a matriarchal construct, meaning the woman ran everything. We have legal documentation, historical documentation, archaeological documentation, scientific documentation that shows this. So it was the woman who was running everything. The woman was the original on the planet. All right. And so originally the male was her slave. I know y'all not going to like that, but these are the facts. This is why she's getting the energy that she's getting. He was her slave. He wasn't supposed to read. He wasn't supposed to have knowledge, have information, no wealth, no riches, none of that. He was subservient to the woman. And I've told you all before that the Y chromosome is a genetically modified gene, a genetically modified chromosome. That means it's a GMO. He was created. He was her slave. He was subservient to her. He wasn't supposed to be reading or writing or having knowledge or wealth or any of that. Even when you go back to the gods, Osiris and Isis. Isis was the one, she's a goddess. I don't even like that term. I won't even go into that. But she's a female god. And she was the one who had all of the wealth and the knowledge and everything. He married her. He's her brother. He married her so they can keep the wealth in the family. But she was the one that owned everything. So understand what happened is she was the one writing these scriptures. It was the woman who knew how to prophesy. It's the woman who had the oracles. It was her who had this knowledge. And we can see that she started to teach him her knowledge, the esoteric knowledge. When you hear the term Mason, we're going to break that down. So we're going into a little bit of etymology today. Mason meaning Ma for mother, son for offspring of the mother. This is where she was beginning to teach him the knowledge of this esoteric foundation, or the esoteric of the spiritual foundation of this dimension. All right. That's what the scriptures were. Those were her books. Those scriptures were her books. And this Bible, it comes in and it canonizes, it takes her story and rewrites them for his purpose. All religions are patriarchal. All religions are patriarchal. They were created specifically by melanated folks, melanated male, for the purpose of taking away her powers and subjugating her under his rule and authority in this book that we know of as the Bible. What he couldn't do when he rewrote her stories is he could not leave out the foundation and the basis of this dimension. All throughout the Bible, what you will find are universal laws, which is what we stand on here in UNA. All throughout the Bible, you're going to find universal laws that help you to understand what's going on and the basis of this dimension. But they're not going to tell you that, because if you understood this Bible, then you would understand your true power. But she had to lose her power so that he could come into power. And the way you make her lose her power is to make her forget who she is. When she forgets knowledge of self, she can't tap into her power. That's the same thing with melanated people. When they don't have knowledge of self and somebody comes in and rewrites their history. And I'm telling you that it was not just the Albion who did that. There are melanated people behind that whole Reconstruction period in the mid-1800s. It wasn't just Albions that did that. There's another group of melanated people that are hiding, who are not who they say they are. We get into that another time. In continuing, so we're understanding now what this Bible is. All major religions come from the melanated male. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, any of the major religions, thank you, Peaches, for the rose, comes from the male, whereby he was taking over her and and putting her into the bondage and the slavery that she put him into. See, he's not going to tell you that. Just like, see, the same way Albions or whoever's running this game don't want melanated people to know who they were. It's the same way that, you know, the male, he doesn't want the woman to know who she was. Because when she becomes knowledgeable about self, then he has to go away. Not that I'm saying that's what I desire, but I'm letting you know this is why he's going to fight you. I'm letting you know why the government fights you, because when you come into knowledge of yourself and you understand that you don't need a government, then they have to go away. Nobody wants to die. So they got to keep doing things to make you think that you need them, such that you keep doing things to make them have to be needed. But as soon as you have knowledge of self, then you won't partake in things that cause the government to be around. As soon as you have knowledge of self, you won't partake in things that cause you to need to be protected by a male or anybody. And this is not to say, this is not a diss on my brother, because I love my brother. I'm telling you the facts. These are the facts. Things have been hidden from all of us, and it is not pretty about the energy that any of us have put out. Not melanated folks, not Albions, not women, not men, not Chinese, not nobody. All of us have dirt. And I'm going to give the facts. That's what I do. So we're understanding that it is sibyls and oracles, melanated women, who created these scriptures that were taken by the male and put in a canonized book as he rewrote her story. How can we see this? Once again, I told you, go and check out Solomon's story. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Somebody asked, what is an Albion? Okay, so-called white people. All right. I don't use the term white because they're not white. And I'm not going to call my folk black because you are not black. Black has nothing to do with who you are as a being, not on a spiritual level or a physical level. Black means dead. Black means ignorant. Black means imbecile. So they're not white. They're Albion. You're not black. So I want to get into the difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament. So we know that the New Testament was written in Hebrew. The Old Testament is written in Hebrew. All right. And whereas the New Testament is written in Greek. Now, why is this important? Because these are two different books from two different times. When you look at the Old Testament is introducing a God that's angry. If you go, I told you go and look at the book of Jasher. Now I need y'all to understand something, because what people tend to think is when they're talking about these gods, they're thinking that these gods are, when they're in the sky. But when you read the Old Testament and you read the book of Jasher and the book of Enki, especially the book of Jasher is letting you know that these people were in communication with these so-called gods. They're letting you know. The book of Jasher is giving you names of what these gods are that you find in the Bible. Now, I told you the Bible has been redacted and left out. And you got to understand, everywhere where it's saying Lord or God, there were names of the gods that were on this planet. And these people were in communication with them. They were physically here. They could physically touch them and speak to them. They could hear them and see them. So I'm saying all that to let you know that, going back to this, most of the gods that were in the Bible, because they've taken the names of the gods out, because I need y'all to understand the term Elohim El meaning God, Ohim O meaning of, Him many. This was many gods. Elohim means many gods. It wasn't just one of them. And again, the vast majority of them were feminine gods. The names in the Bible where it's taking out the names and put Lord and God in there, those were feminine gods. And somebody removed their names because they don't want you to call them. Okay. So we're understanding that there were many gods. And when you start reading these left out books, you're going to start to recognize that they were actually in communication with these so-called gods. Now, some of us have read and we know of them as the Anunnaki. And I'm saying, that's a god, but according to my research, they're not the only ones that were creating or had a human vessel. There was another human being here before them. They fashioned their human after another being. So that's a long story. I won't go into that. We'll get into that in some other sessions. But what I want to go into is, again, the Old Testament, they introduced this God that was angry. This God was a God that really made sense. This God was saying, hey, the God in this Bible was saying, everybody, let me tell you something. When my cousin reintroduced me to the Bible, as I say, I was... I'm under the impression that this is a book about the Albions. And I was shocked when she started saying, okay, so look, this whole thing you talking about China and Russia, that's in the Bible. So check this out. The Bible talks about how, there's going to be a bomb sent over to North America, and there's going to be a rock or whatever that falls on North America. And she's telling me all this stuff, but she's like, because God's people, such. I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean God's people? She was like, yeah, God has a people. And I was like, because we're taught that God loves everybody and everybody is great in God's eyes, but that's not what the Old Testament's saying. So when she started introducing me to this book, she's like, look, and again, I grew up in the church just like everybody else, but she's like, we're going to read this. And this guy, we started reading and she was like, everybody, the Bible, and whoever this character is, this guy character in the book, is like, everybody who has pillaged my people, everybody who's done dirt to my people, oh, I got some get back coming for you. This is my version of what this Bible was saying. I got some get back coming for you because you're not going to get away with doing harm to my people. Wait a minute, God had a people? And then she's showing me how we can tell in Deuteronomy who these people specifically were. These are melanated people. And so when you go back and do your research and you research in all of these lineages, whether we're talking about the lineage of Noah, with his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, Japheth. If you don't know about them, it's important to know about what's going on in this book because these things are being used every day. When you're hearing the term anti-Semitic, y'all pay attention now. I told y'all, when y'all come up in here, make sure you got a pen and paper so you can take notes. When you're hearing the term anti-Semitic, that's coming straight from the Bible. That's a biblical term. What does it have to do with? It's got to do with Noah and his 3 sons. Ham was his oldest son, and Ham means burnt face. We're talking about dark skin, burnt face. These are your South Africans. So these are the people who settled in the area that we know of today as Africa. We're talking about Shem, that's the middle son. He supposedly was among the group that settled in that area that we know of as Saudi Arabia, where you see Iraq, modern day Iraq, all of that. That is the area where your Shemitic people. That's Shem. And then Japheth. These are the people that settled in your Asias. No, where we're talking about Japan and China over there, Germany. And so all of these were supposedly melanated people. Now, some people want to tell you that Japheth was Albion, but according to my research, that was a melanated being. All right, so you got these three people. Well, what's talking about anti-Semitic, Diva? Shem, the middle son. The middle son here, Shem, had a lineage, and in the lineage was Abraham. And from Abraham came Jacob and Esau. Jacob, his name was renamed Israel. And then he's got this lineage of what is known today as the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes is where this Jesus character comes from. So it's important to know that. Now you've got these people who are saying, oh, you're speaking against the people of God. You're anti-Semitic. All right. Semitic is a term that comes from Shemitic. The H was dropped off of it. So what these people are claiming is that they are from this lineage of all these melanated people. Because when you talk about the 12 tribes was all melanated people. All melanated. Well, no Albion's in that 12 tribes. They're claiming to be the 13th tribe of these Israelite tribe. That's what they're claiming to be. Those who call themselves Jews. Now, getting back to this. In this Bible, again, just explaining to you where the term anti-Semitic comes from, they're claiming to be a part of the Shem lineage coming from Noah's son, Shem. They're claiming to be under his lineage. Why? Because that's where God's people came from, these melanated group of people. Okay, so that's the Old Testament. This God was angry. This God was ready to go to war. But then you switch over here, and that was written in Hebrew, to the New Testament now written in Greek. And it's the God of love. Love everybody. Everybody's one. Okay. Now, I need y'all to understand that both of these books have a lot of validity. All right. Because personally, when I was reintroduced to the Old Testament, I kind of liked that God. That God that was like, no, I'm going to stump you. Okay, you messed up. We're ready to have a war. Okay, I understood that God. Then I also understood the New Testament with this character known as Jesus Christ. All right. At first, I wasn't, I had to understand. And this is the other thing that I had to learn about the Bible. While I didn't agree with everything in it, I had to learn to respect what was in it, because come to find out, whoever wrote these laws that are in the Bible, they were trying to warn the people. Those come from the scriptures way back in the BC. It was the women. They knew. They were trying to warn the people, okay, don't do this. Don't get tattoos. Don't keep eating on their meat. Don't keep depending on them to feed you. They're telling you certain things not to do. Grow your own food. So that you don't be borrowing money all the time. They're trying to give you things so that you don't put yourself in bondage. But we weren't listening to any of these Old Testament laws, because those were the sibyls and the oracles trying to warn us about how to stay out of bondage. And so the more I read those laws in the Old Testament, the more I recognized that somebody was trying to warn us. Somebody was trying to keep us out of bondage. So whoever wrote those books, they knew how to, they prophesied. And those were the sibyls and the oracles. Man didn't have that power to be able to prophesy like that. And this is not a diss to my brothers. I'm just giving the facts. So, getting on to this, moving into the New Testament, the Jesus Christ character, it's talked about how he came to bring a law. And what you see is that when it comes to laws, he is the biggest manipulator of the universal laws. When you're talking about how he's able to feed people with this many loaves of bread, whether you believe that or not, when you're talking about him being able to walk on water, and you're talking about all these other miracles, all of that deals with universal law, all of it. All of that deals with universal laws. And those are powers that we all have if we learn to tap into them. All right. So the New Testament is written in Greek. Now, I want y'all to understand, just because something is written in Greek, because we've been made to think that the Grecians or the Greek people back in the day were all Albion, when that's not the case. They originally were melanated. Mostly everything on the planet was originally melanated, including Europeans. Y'all hear the term European, y'all think Albions. The original Europeans were melanated. Moroccans, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, all those melanated folks. All right. So I want to go into some of the things that we hear that are not true about the Bible. Queen Ty says, nah, we wrote and spoke in Greek. Yes, we did. Well, melanated people did. So let me go into this. There's these myths about the Bible. As I told you, yeah, it's allegorical, but it's also historically accurate to some degree. If you want to get the true historically accurate parts of it, go and get the left out books. The Book of Jasher. That is a great one to help you understand or see some things about how historically accurate this book is. All right. Also, the lie about how, oh, it's the white man's book. The white man wrote that book. Again, all religions, all major religions come from the melanated male. And again, this book was created for the purpose of subjugating the woman, specifically the melanated woman, so that she would lose her powers. This is why when you hear me talking about women getting back into their power, men, they get upset about it, especially when I make it clear that women have the ability to procreate on their own. They get upset. What you talk about? You need a man. Listen, there's not nobody trying to get rid of you. Women just need to know who they are. Parthenogenesis. Look it up if you don't know it. Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. Parthen meaning asexual. O meaning of. Genesis meaning creation. Parthenogenesis means creation of asexual birth. She has the ability to do that. That's where they say this Jesus character came from. Now, with that being said, and I won't go deep into this, but this is why I tell you they've switched some of these characters. That Jesus character, if it truly was coming from parthenogenesis, it'd have to be a female. It can't be a male. Because that's how science works. She's cloning herself when she partakes in parthenogenesis. If she's cloning herself, the only thing she can clone is another female, because that's the natural order. Now, moving on. The lie about this book being written by the Albion, so-called white people. I'm going to give you some clues that help you understand that that's not true, which is why you need to be careful about who you're listening to. Especially when you're dealing with people who are making this claim that, oh, the white man wrote it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the New Testament. Book of Revelations. Revelation. All right. In Revelation, it specifically says that the Albion is going to burn in a lake of fire. the book of Revelation says that the Albion is going to burn in a lake of fire. Going to the Old Testament, book of Numbers says that white skin is a curse. In the Old Testament, the book of Numbers says white skin is a curse. So, are you mean to tell me that the Albion wrote this book and they left these 2 chapters in it that degrades and speaks against the very essence of who they are? Either they real ignorant or they didn't write that book. Because you got to be dumb to leave 2 chapters, one in the New Testament and one in the Old Testament, that degrade who you are as a being. I'm telling you, if it was the book that I wrote, there ain't no way that I'm leaving those 2 chapters. They coming out, they're going to get ripped up and they're going to get burned and nobody else going to see them. If I wrote the book, that wouldn't be in there. And so I'm letting you know, just those 2 things right there. There's so many other clues when you do your own research, but those two things right there let you know there's no way that they wrote the book, because they wouldn't have left those in there. So when you hear people saying these things, this is why I tell you, before you speak on something, make sure you have read it for yourself. I want to thank everybody who is sharing this information. Thank you for sharing the live. Real Dude, God is Good, Richard, let's see, Akila, Redial, thank you so much. Richard, thank you all so much for joining. Queen Ty, I see you. Thank you so much for your comments. Queen, let's see, who is this? It's hard for me to see, but Mondraw 1. Yes, we do have the power to prophesy. I have many times performed Jesus acts. I feel you. We do it all the time. Okay, so let me continue. All right, so we understanding that's one of the lies that, the Albions wrote the book. Now, one of the other lies and misconceptions about this book is that this book is just allegorical. And I'm going to say this again. Oh, yeah, it's allegorical. What is allegory? That's where a story is being told to help you understand what's going on in this dimension. Your whole life is an allegory. But your life is happening. Okay? The universe is always giving us allegory. And so it's written in this book. And yes, it is historically accurate. To some degree, the Bible is. But again, read the left out book so you can get a better understanding of what it is. Now, I want to go into this. Let's understand. Hello, Mark, one of my students. I want to go into this and let's understand why this book is so important. Okay, Diva, because, all right, so you saying, the women wrote it and all this, and okay, that's great, but we still, I don't need to know. I don't need no book to tell me how to lead my life. I can do this I know what to do. I know right from wrong. I don't need no book to tell me about what I need to do. Okay, so let's understand this and go through what's going on with the Bible and why it holds power and why you need to know what's in it. Okay. Here we go. Hierarchy of laws. All right. What we're talking about when we're talking about the Bible, it's right here. Remember, as sovereigns, we stand under God's law and universal law. And as a citizen, you down there and you under these people's codes, statutes, and ordinances. Now, when we're talking about the laws of the Bible, we're talking about God's laws. They're known as the laws of maxim. And they're important because you got to recognize that every law, so-called law, every code, statute, and ordinance, it is coming right from here. These laws that are in the Bible is coming right from here. So this is why when you go into court, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? What you putting your hand on? a Bible. That's what it used to happen. Now they've taken that away. I advise you to get your own Bible. If you don't write it yourself, go buy you one. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. What are you doing here? You're putting your hands on a set of laws, and you're swearing to a God, that there is a God. Now listen, the same things you swear on, they got to swear on them too. The same thing you swear on, they have to swear on them too. So you need to know what's in a Bible. The last thing you want to do is go up into a court of law and be talking about, I don't believe in no God. I don't. You don't want to go into the court. You need to be quiet. Because what you're doing is you're giving up all of your power. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean that they don't. They're the ones who are running the game. And you've got to recognize that they respect your God. But if you throw your God away, then you don't have no power. We don't have no need to respect nothing you say. They respect that there is a God. So help you God right here. And that God has a set of laws. What are you saying about your God? If you've thrown it away, or your God, him or her, then you got no power. There's nothing to respect about what you're talking about, because you've got no connection. You've got no higher power according to them. All right. All the laws, codes, statutes, and ordinances come from right here, maxims of law. Now, I want y'all to watch something now, because we talked to you all about contract law, treaties, constitution, codes. These federal codes right here, this is as low as we go. Why? Because there are a set of federal codes that are in harmony with these laws up here. There's some federal codes, and I remember I told you all what federal means. Federal means a contract with God. Federal means a contract with God. This means that anything they talking about federal right here, it better be in harmony with what God said. Because these federal agents, they take an oath to protect the people, God's property. What's God's property? You. So when you talk about a federal court, you talking about so-called laws. These are federal codes. They can't even create laws, but these are codes. These are in harmony with God's laws. Most of them are. All the ones that I've ever read are. Now, these people down here, on the other hand, these corporations, United States Corporation, where they're talking about, oh, you got to wear a seatbelt, oh, you got to put your phone down, oh, you can't be speeding, you can't do this, and you got to have a governmental ID. These people down here, they create code, statutes, and ordinances, because remember, none of these people can create laws. You, as a sovereign, can create law. These people cannot. They can only create codes, statutes, and ordinances. All right. So what they're going to do is create codes, statutes, and ordinances that take away your God-given rights up here. All laws, codes, statutes, and ordinances, all that, they're all derived from these laws here. These people right here, federal codes, they're going to protect your God-given rights. Whereas when you get down here to this level, these people are purposely creating code, statutes, and ordinances that take away your God-given rights. So when you're calling yourself a citizen down here, you're agreeing to give up your God-given rights and be under their jurisdiction. If you're not understanding by now how important it is to know what's in that Bible and to respect these laws of maxim, then you're in a lot of trouble if you're not getting this. Because when you go into court, it's all about recognizing the power of these laws. This is how you create your own court. When you know these laws, this is how you create your own court. When we're talking about being under trust, once you get under trust, and then there are people who you might need to sue or what have you, and you need to take them into court, these laws right here, You create your own laws, as a matter of fact. With us, when we go into court, we're stating, okay, we're dealing with the laws of maximum, we're dealing with the universal laws, natural laws, federal code. That's it. Don't talk to me about your case law. I do not care. That is not valid in this court. Well, what you mean? It's not your court. It's my court. Y'all got to understand that. Right here. These give you that power to operate your own court. When you know who you are, where are the courts? The courts are down here. All the courts, with the exception of the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be operating right here, if it does, but all the other courts, all of them, they are under here, under corporation. And you up here. They down here, and you up here. You the one with all the power. But if you don't know how to use it, then they're going to keep treating you like you down here as a citizen. All right? So, in recapping, it's important for you to recognize what's going on with the Bible, the history, understanding, again, women especially, where it came from. Who wrote it? Where those scriptures come from? All right? The Bible. And again, if you're an atheist, I suggest you get an attitude adjustment and start recognizing the power in this book. Start recognizing the power of the universe and the universal laws. If you want to come up, you have to understand what's going on in this dimension. There is a spiritual realm here. There is a spiritual undertaking going on. And some people will tell you we're in a spiritual war right now. If you're not getting that, then you're going to continue to be treated down here like a citizen. Let me see if I have any questions. Thank y'all for joining. Truth hurts. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the love. I want to encourage you all to go ahead and like and share, please. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful 2023 so far. Daughter of taking. So if y'all have any questions, please drop them in the comment section because I'd love to get to them. On their money, in God we trust. Yeah, so in God we trust is on their money, and it is a trust, meaning like what we're creating where you're under trust and nobody can touch you. So it's called in God we, and then trust is what it is. So again, they're using wordplay, and we don't get what they're saying, but it's important. This is why it's so important. Understand this right here. Because when I talk about, how this game is spiritual, every time you go into court, this is a seance that's going on in front of you. A seance. All rise. Well, who they telling to rise? Because y'all got to understand, in court, there's nothing but dead people. Yeah. The only thing that they can service is dead people. All rise, you dead people, is a seance. Y'all got to get this game. If you don't think it's spiritual, then you're in trouble. You're going to keep getting stepped on. It's all spiritual. So what happens is they're saying, all rise, and they're talking to the dead people. And then when you're answering to that all capital letter name, you're answering to a dead person. You're standing as a dead being. And that's what they're going to treat you like. They're going to treat you like property. If y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comment, put them in the comment section so I can answer them. Yes, we do have the power. Okay. And I thank all of y'all for joining us. Divine says facts. Thank you, Divine. Divinely guide. Divinely guided oneness. Let's see here. Talk says yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank y'all for following too. I'm just looking through any questions that I might have. We are copper. Yes, Dion. Dion Hood, let me talk about this real quick. There's the difference between copper and melanin, and Sabi was going in on this before he passed, where he was saying that there's copper, or let me rephrase that. There's melanin, and then there's carbon. All right. Melanin is, okay. All right. So melanin is considered a derivative of carbon. Melanin is a derivative of carbon. All right. There are a melanated people, which is the derivative, and then your original people, which are carbon. How can you tell the difference? In your melanated people, when melanin is in an abundance and there is highly saturated, it looks black. And that's why you can tell the difference between your South Africans or your melanated people versus your carbonated people, which they have carbon, phosphorus, and copper in their cells. So they're going to look brown. They're going to look copper colored. All right. So those are your original people. So what I'm saying to you, again, yeah, there's the Anunnaki and there's Noah and there's his lineage, but there is evidence showing that there was another being already in the land, on the planet, or whatever you want to call it. They were already here, and that another group of people were fashioned from these copper people because they couldn't create carbon. All they could do was create melanin, which is a derivative of carbon. Okay, I won't go into that, but yes, Dion, the original, those of us who are original, we're copper colored. We're copper, made of copper, and we'd be more considered not copper, but carbonated people. Carbonated. Is not hiding some of us are just naive. What's not hiding? IFT, and I'm having a hard time reading it. Find me. All right, daughter says teach. Thank you, daughter. Let's see. Daughter of faking. Okay, I think that's what it says. All right, so now let's see here. All right, so I'm getting ready to go back down here and read this. Harrison says, thank you, my queen. See one, teach one. Thanks for doing your research. Thank you, Harrison. Okay, let me go back down here so I can get all these comments. I was told y'all picking up down here. I'm wondering if we need a foreign trust. Is it necessary? Okay, truth hurts. When you have your trust, this has to be respected by everybody on the planet. So once you get your trust in order, you get that on record and you know how to post it. So let's say you move to another place. You put it on record there. You move to another country. You put it on record there. But, I mean, your trust sets you up right here under God, under the universe, as a sovereign. So once you're here, look at where these people are. I don't care where you go on this planet. All these different lands, they're just corporations. France and Italy and Switzerland and whatever. They're all right under here. All of them. Every last one of them right under here. And federal codes, they go across this planet. Again, these federal codes are here. They're in harmony with these laws. They're here to protect you. Whereas these code statutes and ordinances that these people create, they're meant to take it away. But if you remember where you are up here, and you remember that you can create your treaties, these are going to deal with every, what is a treaty? What? That's your declaration, where you're declaring who you are. You're declaring ownership of your all capital letter name. When you do that, they got to respect it. So That's going to be across the board, your trust. And so, listen, I understand y'all study under different people and different ideologies, and I get it. So y'all going to come with, different things that you've heard. But a lot of people are making it more difficult than it needs to be. When you understand the basis of this whole game, you're going to be able to cakewalk through this. Okay? First thing first is the trust. Who do you send your paperwork to when correct your status? All right. Now, this is why we get you to Cash. Thank you for the question. Coming to the university, because you need to know who you send it to and why you're sending it to them. You need to know what you're sending to them. Why don't you use the Constitution? What is your take on that? Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Let me tell you about the Constitution. United States Constitution is right here. But really, let me rephrase that. The United States is down here. See these where it's corporations down here? You are up here as a sovereign. Now, when they create a constitution, it's down here. Well, what happens when you create your constitution? Look at where it is. So, are you meaning to tell me I can have my own constitution with my own laws in it? Well, if I can use mine and it's above theirs, and I can put it on record and it becomes law, where their thing is still just a code, statute, and ordinance, I think I'm going to go right here and stand on this. I'm not only going to stand on the federal codes, I'm going to stand on the Constitution. I'm going to stand on these laws of maxim. I'm standing on contract law, and I'm standing on universal law and natural law. What I'm saying is you can mention it, because there are laws in the Constitution that protect you. But at the end of the day, I'm all the way up here. I'm talking about what God said. And I dare people to be trying to tell me that their law is above what God said. We got a problem. So that's why I'm always, if you could talk about the Constitution, that's fine. But I'm always going to be up here. These two laws. Because I know they trump anything man can say. Jay says, Jay Ciation says, thank you for sharing this information. Thank you, Jay, for being here. Thank you for listening. Listen, I really do appreciate you all, because, there was a time when I would put this information out and people didn't want to hear it. They couldn't hear it. They couldn't respect it. And I'm just very fortunate and happy to be able to see this time where people are coming into the knowledge and being willing to hear it. Because one of the things that I know, and as we all will see, when we clean ourselves up, the system won't have any choice but to right itself. Right, as in correct. It's got to correct itself when we correct ourselves. So as we come into knowledge of the law, and we're willing to stand on what we know, we're willing to learn, we're willing to take the time out to learn what's going on and grow on a spiritual level, everything else has to change. It doesn't have a choice. But that's my take on the Constitution, that you can use certain things from it, but you have to be also careful about using the Constitution. I'm going to tell you why. When you hear people going into court and they're talking about, well, the Constitution said that I got the right to do this, that, and that. Okay, well, here's the problem with that. There's more than one Constitution. There's the Constitution. Remember, I did a session not too long ago about the difference between the United States of America versus the United States. All right. When you're going into court and you're talking about a Constitution, if they want to assume you're talking about a Constitution of the U.S., and not the original Constitution, not the organic Constitution, then you are quoting copyrighted material. If you're not a member of their bar, then you're quoting copyrighted material, and they're going to threaten to lock you up for copyright infringement, which is a $10,000 to $50,000 fine. All right. So that's the other thing about talking about the Constitution, if you're going to speak on it, make it very, very clear about which one you're talking about. Well, the organic Constitution says blah, blah, blah. Make sure you put that on there. All right. The other thing, again, is that your Constitution is always going to be higher than any Constitution that they're talking about. So I'd rather stand on my own stuff and stand under God and make it clear, and then let them deal with that. What is New Year's in spring? Thank you for the question, Long Dong Silver. Thank you for joining. New Year's in spring, that is said to be the true New Year. And of course, I won't speak on that today because I like to have any kind of visual aids that I deal with. But it's just said that, or we're on this calendar, Gregorian calendar, when the truth is that, you know, the calendar is different. They've changed everything. Of course, you know, the days of the week, and y'all don't ever know what they're doing because we rely on their clock. You understand? We're relying on, if it says 9 o'clock, then we're relying that is the true time. They could be taking time off. Y'all know with this daylight saving time, you don't know what you're getting. We were originally on the lunar calendar, or lunar calendar, and we're using, you know, a different calendar from that. So everything is different and changed around. So some of us who study and we recognize that really the true New Year is in spring. That's what that's about. So, but you know, whatever floats your boat, if this is a new year for you, Happy New Year. Who is that? Ernest says, I'm copper. Oh, am I copper? Are you copper, Ernest? I don't know. Are you, we need to do a test on that. Do you use the Constitution? Thank you for that question. Think about this one. When I'm doing courts, when I create my court, I specifically make it clear. This court is operating. And remember, when you create a court, that is your court. And you got to say what the laws are. So when I create my court, my laws, universal law we stand on, laws of maxim, I'm dealing with contract law and federal codes, and then my treaties and constitution. That's where I'm standing right here. So if I do mention anything in the Constitution, it would be so the Constitution is a law, by the way. They are laws, but again, it depends on which one you're talking about, because if you're talking about the Constitution of the United States, that is just a code, statute, and ordinance. But no, every now and then I might use it just to make a point, but for the most part, I'm using all of these laws because they're so much more powerful. How much does it cost? Who is that? C.W. Williams. C. Williams. Okay, I'm going to get into that before I get out of here because I get that question and I like to be, as somebody asked me the other day, are you transparent with the cost of the university? Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. Can we see the names again behind you? All right. By the way, you can get this this whole chart. You can go to UNARepublic.com/docs, and you can find that link in the profile. All right. You can find that link in the profile. So go and pull that down. You can get the universal laws there as well. Print them out. Put them on your refrigerator. Live by them because you're gonna have a lot of fun in this game. Let's see. Who else has any questions? Thank you for the diamonds. Truth hurts. Thank you, Zoe. Daughter says yes. Wow, thank you. Thank you, daughter. Each state has its own constitution. Yes, Lily. Thank you for that. So we talked about this before. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because last session we went into how each state is a country. All right, let me pull it up real quick. Each state is its own country. Well, what does it take to be a country? Now, I do not want y'all to confuse this with, this is the Republic right here. This is the Republic of America. Don't confuse this with the United States Corporation, which is owned by Britain. But each one of these states, each one of them, and you see the names are spelled out. So we're talking about Oklahoma Republic, Kansas Republic, Nebraska Republic. What does that say? That say Nebraska, Arkansas, whatever that, Iowa, Missouri. All of these are in the Republic. They are their own country. What does it take to be a country? A flag, a seal, a constitution, a bank, and a landmass. All right? So each one of these states have their own constitution, and they are all countries. Well, guess what? You are your own country. You are your own country. When you put down your declaration, your security agreement, and your UCC, all right, when you get your own logo, you have a flag and a seal. You have a constitution. You got a landmass. This is your landmass right here. You are made up of every element on the planet. You are a walking state, in fact. You are a country all by yourself because you are made up of many different spiritual entities. Don't get into the thought of thinking that it's just one of you. No, you got a whole bunch of spiritual entities within you, and those who are playing this game, they full well know it. Soon as you claim it, then they got to respect it. So you are a country when you get your own flag, seal, constitution, your landmass, and then the bank. What is the bank? Right here, because y'all been doing it every day. Where's the bank? Hold on. Here it is. Okay, I know how to sign. That's the bank. Hold on. Okay. So now let me keep going down. I'm told to keep going. Can I see the screen behind you? Give me 1 second. I'm going to let you see it. Thanks for this food. Thank you. Real 9. All right. Think about it. Got you. Thank you. Sister, you are fine. Thank you, Lily. Can I see the screen behind you? Yes. 1 second. Y'all love the screen. I told y'all, go download it. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to see this screen? Is this the one you want to see? Or you talking about the other one? I'll put that one back up. But this is just a map of the United States. While I'm doing this, please don't confuse it with this right here. Pay attention now. Pay attention and take notes. All right. Do not confuse that with this. This is the United States Corporation. Notice there is no America. Notice the acronyms. All right. See, what these people do is they're going to create something that sounds similar to what the real thing is so that they get you to start using this. And then once you start using this, you're using their copyrighted material. All these things, CO, WY, GA, FL, SC, all of these are copyrighted. All right. And as soon as you start using their copyrighted trademark material, then what ends up happening is you come under their jurisdiction. All right. Let me see. Can you see the entire screen? Which screen you looking for? Can't see the entire screen. Thank you all for the hearts and the roses and the love and the high fives and everything. Thank you for the roses, daughter. Appreciate your time and energy. Thank you, Real. let's see, it's the United States of America, not just the United States. Right. So what you're noticing is when we're talking about the United States, this is British owned. This right here. This is British owned. And this is only resides in Washington, D.C. By the way, Washington, D.C. is not a part of the United States of America. I'm going to say this again. This is as per what's requested by the Constitution. Washington, D.C. is not a part of the United States of America. It is not a state. They're trying to make it a state, but it's not a state. It's a territory, a neutral territory that was established so that when the true states, when the sovereign states had an issue, they could go to this neutral territory called Washington, D.C. and resolve their issue. But Britain got in there in this neutral territory and they created what we know of as the United States to steal the authority from the true United States of America. Then they created all of these different territories. All of this is just on paper. And then they copyrighted all these territories: U.S., U.S. U.S.A. MN and WN and all of these acronyms they copyrighted. So when you put this on your mail and you send it through the mail, you're putting yourself under their jurisdiction when you're using these copyrighted materials. So they're going to say either you call yourself a citizen or you are going to get hit with a $10,000 to $50,000 fine for using our copyrighted material. All right, let me see if I have any other questions. I hope I answered that. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? I hope I gave some understanding about how important the Bible is. Again, I understand that we have been, lied to, and a lot of us are, I guess dejected about finding out that we've been lied to when it comes to religion or what have you. I understand. What I'm going to say to you is, good, you found the lie. Now move past it so you can find the truth, because it is there right in your face. That thing that has been used to keep you down and keep you enslaved is the same thing that will be used to uplift you when you choose to study. All right? When you choose to know what's really going on, you're gonna get uplifted. So I hope that you all are recognizing the importance of studying, the importance of knowing yourself, the importance of wanting to know. And please get into the universal laws. Get into them. Go to UNARepublic.com/docs, DOCS. Download those documents. Put them on your refrigerator. Put them on your mirror. See them every day. Respect them. And I'm telling you all, this thing is going to get better and better. I love y'all. I really do appreciate you. We're coming into the university on the 15th of January. Y'all sign up. If you want a free consultation, send a message, send your number, and we're going to give you a free consultation. I love y'all. See y'all in school. See you in class. UNA University, January 15th. Happy 2023. Winter 2023. See y'all in class. I'm out. Peace. Diva